Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Chris Hawkes. This is your best life defined. Man, I'm having a good time today. Woke up this morning like always. I get my workout in, get my walking and talking in, and now I sit down here and I've done this so much now. I've done so many podcasts now that it's just like, all right, I'm here. Are you here? Thanks for showing up if you are. If you are here and you're kind of digging what I'm saying, or you're kind of picking up on something, or maybe there's a message that's starting to resonate with you, I would really appreciate it if you jump out there and talk about it, share what you're learning, maybe go back and harvest some of the stuff or some ideas from some of my earlier podcasts. And by all means, just keep showing up. That really makes me happy. I'm watching the numbers. Things are working in my favor right now. So apparently, amid all the internal struggle and the self-doubt, something's working. So thanks you guys for that. Hey, listen, I just want you to know that just because I've actually showed up here, and now this is like podcast 201 or something like that. It's up there. The numbers are getting there. This there's a part of this that isn't getting any easier. And the part of it that isn't getting any easier is the fact that while I keep showing up every day, I'm not hearing a lot of noise about what you're doing or the impact it's having on your life. Maybe I'm simply boring the hell out of you. I don't mind hearing that. I'm way past all the judgments and criticism. If you're going to be ugly, if you want to be a troll, I'm okay with that. I have a delete button for trolls. It works just fine for me, right? But I'm going to keep showing up in spite of it being more difficult, because it does. Because like the more time you put into something and you're working towards something and you look back at your commitment and the return on it, there's a part of you that wants to quit. There's a part when we get to that point where we're just like grinding it out and we keep showing up and we're not seeing the return on it, where you just want to say, this isn't working. But in my case, I keep looking at this and I think, you know what, it has to be working, because my life's getting better. It has to be. It's working because when I wake up every day and I have a conversation with my wife, and I've said this before, it's funny when we were younger and we'd have conversations about tough subjects like money and big choices, it would always end up with me being upset and her crying. And I was noticing the other day, we have these tough conversations every once in a while, because in case you get the impression that our life is perfect from the standpoint of relationship, it's not. We're still broken. We still carry baggage that was created by our childhood and by our early years when neither one of us knew what the hell we were doing. So every once in a while, we get into these heavy discussions that are difficult for one of us or both of us, usually both of us, because I feel her pain when she's struggling through something, and she feels my pain when I'm over there trying to figure shit out, right? But what's cool now is that when we face those struggles, and they're never easy, they don't get easier just because you've been doing it longer, it's still hard to go through that. But at the end of those conversations, those tough discussions, I actually feel better and I feel closer to my wife than I did before we had them. And what's cool is while the mood of the day can be kind of tense when you're having that discussion and we're trying to work out the details of some issue that we have going on between us that we both want to fix, but we're not sure how, is that after we work through those moments and we spend that time engaged on that emotional level, it seems like the rest of our day just skyrockets. It just gets so much better. And before you know it, we're joking and laughing. And the other day I was over there, we'd had a conversation. And by the end of the day, I'm over there and I got Sandy pinned down on the couch. And when I would go to kiss her, she'd pull away, right? And I'm like, what's this about? And I get on her and I'm just kind of like messing with her and she's pulling away. And it turns out that she says, it's like kissing a porcupine. Because I don't know if you know, if you can see this. I haven't shaved in a few days. Been really busy doing a bunch of stuff. I hate shaving, but I'll get it cleaned up. But it was funny because amid a difficult conversation that morning, by the afternoon, we were just having a blast again. And it's because when you get trust, when you work towards things, the issues we face don't get any easier just because we talk about them more. But what does get easier is the outcome. The expectation for the outcome gets easier. You talk about like COVID-19. This is a big thing, man. We had the election and COVID-19 and the unemployment rate and the unpredictability of our future as a country. And there's just so many things going on in the world right now that is a point of concern. I can tell you that no matter what happens beyond you, that's not going to make your life any easier. not substantially. You're still going to wake up every day and grind out whatever it is you grind out. And that's where the reality is. And the idea that someone, like for instance, the election, the big election was everyone was wanting to choose someone who was going to make our life better. I guarantee it doesn't matter who got elected. Your life isn't going to get better, significantly better. You're not going to wake up in 6 months and go, damn, I can't believe how great my life is because they elected that guy. Because the truth is, it isn't going to happen. If you want to live a better life, anything in your life you want to improve, you're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to wake up every day. You're going to have to ignore your self-doubt. You're going to have to ignore the fact that you don't want to, your emotional response to that physical action, and you're going to have to do it. And just because, an example is I've done a lot of stuff in my life. I've done a lot of scary stuff. I think one of the most scary things I've ever done in my life is this podcast, because I'm putting it out there every day. And then to do the video on top of it, I know what I look like, okay? I know what I sound like. And for all the glib attitude I'm trying to portray, this is serious business for me. I don't want to fail you. I don't want to waste your time with half-assed jokes that don't mean anything. Because I said, hey, listen, I'm going to show up, I'm going to do a podcast, and I'm going to do my best to help you see that there is a way to live your better life, to live a better life, to have access to the things you love. I don't know what you think about it, but serious business to me. And it's because of the standard that I've set for myself that it's not going to get easier. Working on that book, stepping away from here, doing what I have to do, and then coming back in here and sitting down and plugging away for 4 hours on that book, it doesn't get easier. Now, the benefit becomes more realistic. The possibilities become more realistic. I guess maybe that's the source of energy that keeps me sitting down eating that frog, right? If you don't know what that means, go back and listen to the podcast. But it doesn't get easier. I guarantee you I'll get done with this podcast, or I'll continue this podcast. We'll continue talking about how to live our best life and how to achieve things that seem impossible. And there will still be something somewhere down the road. I will be doing something else that I'm talking about that I have no damn idea how to do. Right now there's a part of me says, well, maybe I should make my videos on YouTube more interesting and do all the bling and all that. I don't know if I want to do that. That doesn't inspire me one bit. Maybe it'll happen, but somewhere down the road, you're going to hear me complaining about some other thing that I've started that I suck at, that I'm afraid of, that I don't think you're going to appreciate, or for whatever reason is just not going the way I want it to. Because when you choose new things, when you choose new destinations, those new destinations come with struggle. For some people, when you look at buying a house, it's like this exciting adventure, and you're like, oh yeah. I'm scared to death of making the commitment to buy a stick and brick home, because for a couple of reasons. The first reason is I'm afraid that I'm not going to be ready to not do this, to not have the freedom and the luxury to live in my house, to have my bed, my bathroom, my kitchen, my living room, my TV, and my stuff, and be able to travel around to places I've never seen in my home, with my home. To feel the energy that comes from pulling into a new place and getting all excited. I don't know if you've never experienced this. Let me try and maybe I can give you an image of this. So there is nothing more inspiring to Sandy and I than the sound of the ocean and then the smell of the ocean. I remember that first time we headed to Oregon in our 10-foot little camp trailer. Once we broke up over into the redwoods, and we got up over the bluff and towards the ocean, that smell of ocean just hit us, and the energy level, it goes through the roof. I don't even think the tires on the truck were touching the ground from the time we picked up that first fragrance of ocean water and the time we pulled into that first camping spot. It's just cool as hell. We planned on the trip. It was scary. We'd never done that. It was a new camper. We'd never towed anything like that far before. Never been on an amazing adventure. We spent 10 days on the Oregon coast. We moved every 2 days. Cooked outside, explored, loved it, drank too much, had fun, went to Astoria. It was an awesome trip. But starting out on an adventure like that, it doesn't ever get easier. You have to figure it out. You have to find the energy to take that first step. You have to find the energy to take that next step. You have to find the energy to do whatever you need to do to accomplish your goal. And it never gets easier. It won't get any easier. No matter what the world does around you. In fact, if things keep going the way they're going with COVID-19, things got a hell of a lot harder. This is, maybe it's off the subject, but I don't think that this COVID-19 is going to get any easier. And just to point something out, if you're listening to me, apparently we can't have it both ways. If you look at the numbers, this wasn't a presidential thing to try and get one president elected or one person get elected or the other. This is a virus. We want things to go back to normal, but we won't do the bare minimum to maybe help that happen. I ain't wearing a mask. It's against my conscience. No one's telling me to wear a mask. Okay, no one shouldn't have to tell you to wear a mask. If you want the economy to continue and to be able to go eat at a restaurant, what we have to do is we have to slow the pace of this infection. And if wearing a mask will allow us to get some semblance of normalcy where you could actually like walk into a restaurant or a bar or a gym, and because everyone is wearing masks, no one's infected, so you don't have to worry as much about getting infected. Maybe that's the ticket. I don't know. But whatever's coming with this, it's not going to get easier. And our resistance to try things that might make it easier, that might give us access to the life we want to live amid COVID-19, we can do it. We could pull together and say, okay, guys, maybe it's not a conspiracy. Maybe we should try to curtail this. We'll all wear a mask. Even though I don't agree with it, you could wear a mask that says, I don't agree with masks. How about that? Would that work for you? But it's not going to get easier. It won't get easier. So maybe we should try working harder. Maybe we should try working together. You're going to face struggle in your life. I face struggle every day. This podcast is a struggle for me sometimes. My relationship is a struggle for me. I sit and I have that debate in my head about making the right choices. Right now I've got this thing cooking. I'm supposed to be in Florida. We were supposed to be in Texas. I'm wondering to myself, will we ever get up the West Coast, up California and Oregon again, given the fires and the condition of that state and that area of our country, right? It's like, damn, what did I miss out on? Because instead of hanging tough in Yuma and going ahead and following through on our plans, we came back to Colorado. We played it safe. Thinking about what our next step is. It's not any easier. It doesn't get easier. Because next spring, I'm going to be faced with this decision again. Do we travel? Do we go to Salmon River, Idaho? Do we go to Montana, Utah, Arizona? I mean, not Arizona, but Wyoming, Indiana, Oregon? That decision's a tough one, and it doesn't get any easier. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to face it. I'm going to wake up every day, and as that decision comes closer and closer, I'm going to start taking those steps. I'm going to start eating that frog on those things I don't want to do, or I'm afraid to do, or I don't want to face, and I'm going to do it anyway. And the end, guess what? I'm going to look back, and compared to where I am today as I do this podcast and where I will be in a year, I will honestly be able to tell you my life got better. My life got better because I was able to accomplish something that I have never done before in my life. And with that comes the experience that I've never had before. And all the energy that's pouring into my tank, because instead of trying to be who I am, I'm working on being who I can be. I don't know, maybe I sound like a preacher. I don't know what I sound like. I don't know what you're getting from this, but the point is you can do it too. You don't have to wake up and have every aspect of your life feel like you're being drug around behind the back of a pickup truck by your nose. Let's be honest, that's what it feels like, right? I mean, when's the last time you actually had a break just to sit down and think about you without some idea in your head that you got to hurry up, got to do this because there's something else behind it, got to do this because I got to get to that, because then I got to do this and maybe I can drink a beer and then I got to go to bed and get up and do it again. A lot of energy there, huh? It won't get any easier unless you make it easier. It won't get any easier unless you choose stuff that has energy and drives your choices. And that's where we're at on this. So I could keep going on about it. I can tell you the podcast is getting easier. Coming up with subjects and it's the same grind. It's the same story back and forth about your life, your relationships, how your choices, your finances. Make a better choice. Pick a better direction for your life, and I guarantee your life will get better. So keep that in mind, and as always, just remember, today's your day. Make it a good one.